I host this independently produced television show which is broadcast on RT International. Within the broadcasting laws which normally pertain in this country, I can say what I like about any issue, and so can any one of my interview guests, who have included current heads of state and government, as well as past prime ministers and presidents, MPs from different parties, baronesses, lords and knights of the realm. Not a single one of them has complained about being silenced, because not a single one of them has been. I hold no brief for the Kremlin, nor am I required to have. No one has tried to influence the content of this show in any way, shape or form whatsoever. By definition, RT has not been a propaganda station because it's regulated under a UK licence by Ofcom. Yes, it's had breaches of the Ofcom code, but so have Sky, ITV and the BBC. For some, however, independent regulation is not enough. Newspapers who objected to even the mildest of statutory regulation of their own industry now think that independent regulation is somehow inadequate for broadcasting and should be replaced by effective state censorship. The chemical poisoning in Salisbury was a heinous crime and should be universally condemned. The best way to deal with crime is to take the suspects when identified through the courts, domestic and international. The UK government is totally convinced that the Russian state is involved and are therefore entitled to take a range of additional measures, diplomatic and economic. Of course, it's much more effective to operate in concert with friends and allies. To succeed, the evidence has to be overwhelming, and the case cast iron, as the leader of the opposition correctly pointed out to the Prime Minister. He didn't get much support for making that point in the House of Commons, but that does not make him wrong. Pursuing the case internationally is essential, and you're unlikely to succeed at the Organisation for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons or at the United Nations without the production of such conclusive evidence. When the UK government produces their evidence, then the Russian government will have no alternative but to answer. Meanwhile, unilateral domestic measures, which could still have a real impact, are those which follow the money, whether it's the Magnitsky Act or something even more rigorous and far-reaching, which tackles the ill-gotten gains of the few instead of the general sanctions which hurt the many. But don't shut down TV stations because your standpoint is so uncertain that you must exclude other perspectives. Between Monday and yesterday, the Prime Minister sensibly drew back from that proposal, but nor should this be attempted by indirect pressure on an independent regulator. To censure would make a travesty of the concept of nation speaking unto nation, a mockery of freedom of speech, and it would portray an image of a country lost in self-doubt. It would also strike a fatal bargain. Liberal democracies don't succeed in international confrontations by sacrificing their dearest held values of freedom of speech.